Hope everyone is doing well this afternoon. What a joy to be with you. It's as Jim mentioned, he and I met 16 or so years ago and have maintained a friendship, and I really have come to appreciate and love him and his family. And I'm so appreciative, so very appreciative of all of our faithful pastors out there. I truly am. There are certainly challenges in what I do in evangelism, to be sure. But I don't face the kind of challenges that a pastor faces. I can come into a church and spend 2 or 3 days, make everybody mad, and then I'm gone. You know? But your pastor has to put up with you folks. So I really have a tremendous heart for all of our faithful shepherds out there, and Jim is one of them. Okay, so let us begin. We're going to begin. This is a session in the seminar is entitled Clouds Without Water, which is a reference in the book of Jude, verse 12. Jude refers to false teachers in a number of different ways. He says they are hidden reefs in your love feasts. They feast with you without fear, caring only for themselves. And that is one of the hallmarks of a false teacher. A false teacher does not care about you, does not care about God, cares only about himself or herself. And then Jude says that they are clouds without water. And the picture there that Jude draws for us is that false teachers have the appearance of having some nourishment, but no sustenance ever falls from them. They leave the ground below them dry and parched. And we're going to be looking today at the Word of Faith movement, also the New Apostolic Reformation movement. Now, the Word of Faith movement, that's the proper term given to a movement that is more commonly known as the health and wealth gospel, the prosperity gospel, name it and claim it gospel. Basically, the doctrine that says it is always God's will for a Christian to be wealthy, and it's always God's will for a Christian to be healed. You should never be sick. Or if you do get sick, then physical healing is guaranteed, provided that you have enough faith, provided that you sow enough seed into some minister's ministry. In other words, give him money, sow seed, so you can reap a harvest. If you ever hear a preacher tell you, sow seed into my ministry so you can reap a harvest, run like the wind. You know you're dealing with a false teacher. This movement is led by people such as Benny Hinn, Kenneth and Glory Copeland, Joyce Meyer, Creflo Dollar, Jesse Duplantis, Joseph Prince, Andrew Womack, Joel Osteen. Undoubtedly you know these names. This movement, tragically, is the face of Christianity around the world today. And as bad as it is here in the United States of America, I can tell you it is far worse in other parts of the world. The prosperity gospel, as we'll see here in just a minute, was created here in the United States of America, but we have exported this theological poison to the rest of the world. And now it has become the face of Christianity around the world today, and it is horrific in Africa. All of sub-Saharan Africa is just saturated with word faith, health and wealth, prosperity, theology. It is truly our worst export. Bar none, the prosperity gospel is the worst thing that has ever come out of this country. And it has brought untold reproach upon the name of Christ all around the world. You'll also hear me use a term, New Apostolic Reformation, and this is a twin movement to the Word Faith movement. It's everything that the Word Faith movement is, with all the emphasis on health and wealth and prosperity and all those things, but it has an even greater emphasis on signs and wonders, modern day apostles. And they get into dominion theology, which is kind of like postmillennialism on steroids. But and that's really the only difference, would be a little bit of difference in their eschatology. Most Word Faith preachers are more kind of premillennial, and most NAR would be hyper postmillennial. But what you're seeing today is that Word of Faith, and with NAR, New Apostolic Reformation, you would have guys like Bill Johnson, pastor of Bethel Church in Redding, California. Bethel Music, that's where it comes out of. So he's kind of one of the leaders in the movement. You would also have guys like Todd White with dreadlocks that goes around healing people, lengthening their legs, that we'll look at in a little bit. And this kind of stuff, Patricia King, Heidi Baker. But what you're seeing today is that Word of Faith and NAR just melding together. They're just kind of becoming one poisonous theological stream. And you see classic Word of Faith teachers such as Kenneth Copeland speaking at classic NAR churches like Bethel Church did so just recently. They cross-pollinate with each other. They're basically one and the same. So that's what we're going to be looking at. That's the overall subject matter. What I want us to do in this particular session, in our introductory session, is I want to give you a history of the Pentecostal charismatic movement. Now, we could do a whole, basically, semester on this, but I want to give you just a bird's eye view in the next hour or so, the history of the Pentecostal charismatic movement.